Yeah, I did. I know.
Mine.
Nonetheless, I like this card.
Aether. Aether Siphon. Siphon? Aether
It's a
Siphon.
siphon,
Aether Siphon.
idiot.
One blue blue, an artifact, uncommon. Start your engines. For 3. Eh. To untap, draw a card. Very good. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent mills 2 cards if you're at max speed. Whenever you draw cards, that's 4 per turn, assuming you're using this to draw. So this card is very slow.
It's very slow.
If they printed something broken like a 2 drop 1/1 that whenever you play an artifact makes a 1/1, I'd be more interested in playing this. I don't know if you can play
Yeah,
this at Modern Limited just because it's so slow. It's insane value.
it's so slow.
It's
Yeah,
insane value.
it is so. It is. It is so funny in cycling. With cycling.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, works really well cycling. Maybe you can throw enough of those 3/3 artifact vehicle walls in your deck where you could consider this.
Yeah.
It's also really weird with Starship
Yeah.
Engines, right? Like, when are you ever,
Right.
when are
Like,
you
how
ever
are you
playing
hitting
this in a
starter
deck that
engines?
does that?
I think.
You
I.
know?
I think you're only doing it with flyers. Blue flyers.
I think this card is nonsense. I wish I'd let
I
you read it.
think it's amazing.
This card is
I
nonsense.
think this card is. I want it to work so bad.
F. F.
It's. I. 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 I'm gonna call it a D. A hopeful D.
A hopeful D.
And I'm gonna take it eventually.
Well, it's going to be the best
You
card.
if
You just stall out.
if I open the rare mill card in my second like pack or first pack, because no, it's getting through a draft. No one's taking that most of the time.
Sure, you're playing like one of these, and Turbo Control is it? Like you're playing the 3/3 walls as
Yeah.
blockers, all removal,
Yeah.
but you're gonna get there with like direct pinging
Yes.
damage and flyers, and like this is your whole late game
Yep.
plan. You're never playing it 3.
Yep.
You're playing it like turns 5 through 8.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe. I mean that is a playable scenario for it. It would be like a C plus in that scenario while being your late
Yeah.
game
Super
plan.
control-y.
That's its that's a success case. Everything else is its failure.
All right. One blue, bounce off, instant, return target creature or vehicle to its owner's hand. That's pretty good.
It being vehicle is additionally savage, right? Because they've invested something
Yeah.
into it. I mean, that does make it a creature.
And crude.
Yeah. I would say these are probably this unsummon is probably better than your average set, just because people are more likely to apply multiple creatures and value towards one creature.
Yeah.
It's also better with getting through speed damage, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
See,
See.
we'll see.
Oh baby.
Cap Kalorna, Kalorna,
Yeah, I think you got it.
Kalorna,
Lorna.
Coral Tyrant. 1 and a blue for a 0/8. Uncommon. That's it.
That's
It's a pest. It should be Coral Pest. I don't see how it's a tyrant.
it.
Um. Oh, because it. Wait. Is the coral the tyrant? This is the octopus, right? I don't understand the stat
It's the
line for this
octopus.
octopus. It's clearly devastating vehicles and mass.
Yeah, yeah. It's tearing down an entire highway for fun.
I like the idea that that's actually not it. That it's actually the coral that is keeping it at bay.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Oh
It
no,
does have coral growing out of its head.
the coral came with it. So no, it is. It is obviously it's legendary creature octopus. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't like this card.
This is an interesting cycle of just vanilla cards.
It's probably playable, but I don't like it.
I think it's playable because I mean blue seems to be somewhat slow. Like this just completely stops them from doing anything for a while.
Not really. It just stops one thing from doing damage. It doesn't stop them from doing anything because it has no threat
But
to
with all the
deal
crewing, there's
damage.
going to be with all of the mounts and other shit. There's going to be a lot more of just
Well,
one big thing getting in.
imagine there's those things though that get value when they saddle, like the ones that grow. Like you don't feel great about having this. Like the fact that this thing's just
Yeah,
like
but then you
never a
just
threat to
bounce it
trade.
theoretically in a deck that this is in.
Sure. Yeah, you better have some pretty
This has to be
strong
in a
late game
control deck.
and control options to
But
play
this
this.
isn't discard bullshit is going to be a grindy game style.
Speed, man. There's speed. And
But this just stops them
There's a lot of
getting
face.
speed.
There's a lot of face relay mechanics too.
Yeah, we'll
Um.
see. It'll be interesting.
Oh man, I just
I just
realized
think it's so much.
when I flip my screen now it says Atmos backwards. Woof. Whatever.
Lol.
I like pointing this direction more than I care about how that looks. All right.
Diversion unit. 1 and a blue for an artifact creature robot at uncommon. It's a 2/1 flyer for 2. And for 1 blue, no tapping. Sacrifice this creature, counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 3. This card. This card.
Yeah, this is good. It's an uncommon, obviously, for a reason because this is a massive pain. I mean, the
How many
old
of these would you run, Thomas?
infinite,
8?
infinite. Yeah, there's no limit to how many of these I'd play. And then I'd play the thing that makes all artifacts cost one less. Um, so like I guess the thing where this isn't broken is like this is probably what they're wanting to kill anyway. Like you can't abide 2/1 flyers for 2 for very long,
Right.
but in the circumstance where you have something substantially better than a 2/1 flyer in play, its
Yeah.
ability to protect that is also pretty cool.
Also, it's cool that you can use this to mount or crew a vehicle and still use this ability
Yeah, that is also true.
to stop them from targeting a vehicle if you're just getting value
Yeah,
with this by crewing.
I mean, obviously this card is very good. We're trying to decide how good. They made it an artifact for those triggers. The
It's a
fact
B plus.
it's a 2-drop that can crew, and the fact that it can hit any instant or
Or
sorcery, not
that's
just stuff that like targets
yeah.
creatures, so it can like counter anything.
Three is a serious amount to pay.
Yeah, 3 is a lot. If this thing had also had flash, it would be crazy.
Yeah.
It would be uh, almost certainly playable in other formats. I think. Yeah, I think this is probably a B to B plus. Probably, yeah, it's probably a B plus. I don't know how much Blue is going to care about the starting of engines. Obviously, it's better with the starting of engines because it's quite good at doing that as well.
Yeah.
Flood the engine. 2 and a blue for an enchantment aura. I'm assuming this is going to be like a pacifism. Enchant creature or vehicle when this aura enters. Tap enchanted permanent. Yeah, I mean the tap version of pacifism, and it loses
Yeah.
all abilities and doesn't untap. So it is the premium version of it. It only costs 3. It doesn't cost 4. It doesn't have flash. That's where normally it costs 4. But it also just hoses all their abilities. Every
Yeah.
ability activated, tap,
Stops everything happening.
everything. Yeah. So yeah, this is pretty good. And it can hit vehicles too,
Yeah.
so it doesn't even have to be creatures. So yeah, this is like a B minus, C plus.
Yeah.
Right in there.
If they turn 3 play like either of the uncommon dual color 3 drops that are extremely good, the Demir one or the Selesnya one,
Yeah, it does completely counter them, right?
or
Even their
Simic one.
passes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm a million percent dropping this on them and feeling very good about it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, it's quite good. It's still just as going even
Yeah,
mana
so
then, but
it's a C plus.
C plus B minus. Like just because it costs 3, like if this thing costs 2, that's where you start talking about like real B minus. Which we have seen it for 2.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while at uncommon they'll print this
Yeah,
for
yeah,
2.
But it's like strong sets,
Yeah,
like modern sets.
and it's just a common, so
Um,
it's nice to pick it up.
yeah. Gear Seeker Serpent, 5 and 2 blue for a creature serpent 5/6. Affinity for artifacts. This creature can't be blocked this turn for
For
6.
6.
Whoa. Playing this for 3 is pretty compelling.
Yeah,
3 or 4.
that takes 4 artifacts to do.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I mean, I'm still. This is an insane comment.
Mm,
This is an insane comment.
I don't think so.
This is an insane comment.
I don't think so.
You're. What turn do you feel bad about playing this on? I'm happy to play this turn
6.
4,
You're not playing this
4
turn
5.
4. You're not playing this turn 4. You're gonna go artifact 1, artifact 2, artifact 3. Play this on 4. Sure,
Yes,
that's great. If you do that every game, that's
it's
great.
happening.
Yeah, sure. And then you still can't use its
I'm
ability for 2
saying you will
turns.
see that. It's a
Maybe.
5/6.
I believe I could play the entire standard and not see that happen once. Or the entire limited format and not see that happen once. This on 4. Um it's possible. This on 5 is mid and still not guaranteed. Because remember, you're also just assuming with your artifact 1, artifact 2, artifact 3 that literally no trading has happened. You are not monstrably behind with no trading happened. You have never had to block. Like, not only are you playing artifacts every turn, you're sticking them and they're doing nothing. And you're also not losing somehow. Uh, I don't know. I My gut says this isn't good, but maybe being able to
I think
play
it's a
it
C plus.
for 5, which is just cost reducing 2, just cost reducing 2 plays it for 5. Maybe that's fine. I mean, we can't ignore the can't be blocked this turn text. I mean, yeah, it's 6, but that's still just
Yeah.
a 5 damage crack.
Yeah, that's a big crack.
Maybe it's a C. I was gonna be harsher. Maybe it's a C. And if you really, really get there on artifacts, like your Gabriel and your Azorius Turbo artifacts, you have
Yeah,
3 of the
I
one
am
drop
shitting out. I am playing this for 2 a lot of the time.
for 2. Okay.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
turn
yeah, yeah, yeah,
7.
yeah,
On
yeah,
turn 7, you're
yeah, yeah,
playing
yeah.
2 of these for 2 with
In
for 4
Simic, I'm
blue
just
mana.
shitting out those Thopters with the 3 drop.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And you're ramping. Insane. Um,
There are multiple things that make Thopters, like
I think this
I
is
mean,
a C.
in the blue black, drain them and make 2 Thopters.
There you go. Then you can play this on turn 6 for 5. Yeah, I would think to.
Imagine this: you
I think.
double drain them, make a bunch of Thopters, play this for 2, play 2 of them for 2.
Yeah, with 4 blue mana. Um, yeah, I would say this is a C, and that's pretty much its ceiling, unless you really, really get there on artifacts, and then maybe it's a little better. Glitch Ghost. Are you the glitch? I'm the Glitch Ghost. Glitch
Yeah, you're the
Ghost
glitch ghost.
Surveyor. Wow, she is very angry. 2 and a blue for a 2/2 flyer. Spirit Scout at common. Starts your engines. 3 is mid, but I'll take it. Max speed 3. Exile this card from your graveyard. Draw a card. We've seen that text before.
Yeah, we have.
That's interesting. So again, it works with exile stuff.
Yeah.
It starts your engine. This is like this is better than Windrake, but how much better than Windrake is this? It definitely wants to be in flyers because that's the one that cares about speed. So it wants to be like an Azorius flyers. Uh, and then it eventually redraws you if you don't win from being flyers and having max speed. I think this is great. I think
Yeah, I
giving
think
this,
this is a C minus.
yeah, I think giving this a C minus. I think it's a C minus.
Yeah.
I was gonna say a C minus is generous, but I'll just say it's a C minus.
No.
Generous.
Guide Guidelight Optimizer. 1 and a blue for an artifact creature robot 2/1. Tap to add blue. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate an ability. I'm in for this. It's a C.
Yeah.
It's an artifact. It's an artifact that's going to give you
Activates
value because you
abilities,
don't want it to block. It also activates abilities.
which includes exhaust
We've also seen
abilities.
multiple abilities. Yeah, it
Includes
includes exhaust
exhausts.
abilities, and it includes the exiling things from your graveyard.
I think this card is pretty good. I would say it's kind of
I
pushing
think it's
C
more like a
plus.
C plus.
Like if you're in
Yeah,
artifacts or an
yeah, fair.
exhaust, so like Simic
Yeah,
exhaust or artifacts, because it is an artifact itself. I think it's
yeah, it's
pretty
just
good.
always valuable.
It's a C trending
Probably in this
upward.
set.
Howlers heavy, just Howlers heavy. The Howlers
Uh-oh.
are a
Yeah.
people, and this is their heavy. It's 3 and a blue for a 3/4. This is me, the Seal Pirate. It cycles for 1 and a blue. Awesome. I love it. When you cycle this card, target creature or vehicle an opponent controls get -3/-0 until end of turn.
Wow. This card is.
So, so we have seen this conditionally, right, for 1 blue, and was quite good,
Yeah.
right? Like if you control a citizen or whatever, draw a card when you play
Yeah.
this. So this is completely unconditional, uncounterable, instant speed, draw a card,
Yeah.
-3/-0, or it's also just a 3/4 if you need it to like cruise some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this.
This will
I like
blow shit out.
this.
I mean, this is a C plus.
So I'd be tempted to say yes, but as
C.
we have learned previously, the difference between 1 and
And 2
2
mana.
is
Yeah.
massive. Uh, as massive as this seal. So maybe it's still just a C. Because like you're not excited about a 3/4 for 4. Like that's really a bailout. You almost always want to cycle this, but again, that's where the difference between 1 and 2 is huge. It certainly feels good to like double block something, cycle this, draw a card, and kill it for free. I mean, that feels
Yeah, I'm
great.
just thinking about the obvious love for discard and red and probably Demir too.
Yeah, yeah. If you have discards energies, this certainly goes up in estimation.
Yeah.
So I'll say it's probably still just a base C, but I like it. This is a base C. I'm happy to
With the
play.
ceiling of a C plus.
Yeah, yeah.
A C plus I think it can be.
If you have a lot of discards, or if you're just kind of a more control-y deck, it'd be better too.
Yeah.
Hull Drifter, not to be confused with Null Drifter, not to be confused with Mole Drifter. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's a Hull Drifter and it's 3 and 2 blue for an artifact vehicle 3/2 as flying. When this vehicle enters, draw 2 cards and it cruises for 3. So the flying 3/2 thing is it's basically just a 5 mana draw too.
We
With
discussed this
slight
card
upside.
earlier. Do you
Yeah.
remember my opinion of it?
This card is it's bad.
It's bad. How dare you say any drifter could possibly be bad? Yeah, I think it might be bad.
I think it's bad. Because like crew 3 is a lot. It's just a 3/2 flyer. It dies to any small removal.
Yeah.
They care about it. It's just like not what you want to have to be. I will say
Yeah.
it seems very easy this set to crew 3 with all the pilots and stuff. So like in Azorius, like I say if I'm really hard in Azorius flyers, I'm still probably taking.
This card is a
But
beating with that enchantment that gives it +1/+1 and lifelink. And gives you a pilot
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
crit 4/3
yeah,
lifelink
yeah, yeah, yeah.
flyer.
Oh boy, yeah.
But yeah, notice this is only a
Yeah.
common.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a trap. I think there's gonna be people that are gonna see Drifter, read it like it's um
Yeah.
Mole Drifter, and
Really a
then put
creature.
put 3 of these in their deck and not do anything with them.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree. I mean, I think there is a world where this feels pretty okay in that kind of Azorius deck, but otherwise is completely unplayable.
Yeah, the 3/3 for 3 they can make this bigger with the counters for 4.
Yeah.
The daring engineer or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
daring
Yeah.
mechanic. That's who he was. Yeah, that would be interesting. But yeah, it's slow. 5 mana for 2
Slow.
cards. Because the thing is, you're not
Not
getting
great.
the third card out of this. Like
No.
the rest of this is not the third card that you would like to pay 5 of. A 3/2 flyer
No.
crew 3.
No.
That's not a card. It's a little
No.
worse than a card. So, and I'm not even excited about draw 3 for 3 at sorcery speed, really. So, what are we doing?
Once again,
Um,
unless you're like literally shitting out pilots for fun.
I think this is a D plus, but if you're playing exactly 1 in the right deck, it could be like a C.
Yeah,
And
playable.
maybe if you have a deck that is extremely good at passively crewing stuff, or just has all the pilots or something, which I
Yeah.
feel like we've already seen white, and I didn't really see anything that screamed that out to me. Then maybe I would play 2 of
There were
these.
several pilots. There was the
There was nothing
uncommon
that shit
pilot.
out pilots. There was that one.
Sites.
There's
Yeah.
the Boros card. Tap to make a
Yeah, the
pilot,
Boros
right?
card.
The
Yes.
Boros
Yes.
card.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is double blue, so.
Yeah. 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 Fair.
But maybe red will have it. Maybe red will have something that shits off pirates. Like if Boros did it and white didn't, so maybe red will do it. Keen Buccaneer. 2 and a blue for a 2/3 vigilance. Exhaust. 1 and a blue. Draw a card, then discard a card, and put a 1/1 counter on this.
Whoa.
This seems good.
This is good. This is very good.
Again, threat of activation. I mean, it's attacking like it's a 3/4 vigilance, even if it's not.
Yeah.
Um, which means it can attack.
This is a C plus.
It can attack and threaten to crew. Like that's where I think this is.
Mm-hmm.
So blue is definitely the most controlly color. Go figure. But we've now seen several things that allow blue to like kind of apply pressure while still also block within the vehicle's mechanics. Um, and this does it along with that wall that we saw earlier. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is like a
Yeah.
C plus. I think this is quite good.
Yeah. Yeah. This is quite good.
I'm shocked we haven't seen
I
any
mean, just
discard synergies yet.
yeah. Same.
Which I've only seen the rares and mythics, so they exist there, but I don't even know if they exist at common and uncommon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is C plus. I think it's quite good. All right.
Oh my God. Memory Guardian. 4 and a blue for an artifact creature robot artificer. It's a 3/4 flyer with an affinity for artifacts. This card.
Yeah. Um.
This card.
So in the history of affinity creatures, we have Frogmite, which is a 2/2 for 4, aka 0 mana. We have the Guardian, something Guardian, which is a 4/4 for 7, aka 0 mana. We have the flying 2/2 for 5, no, for 7 that draws you 2 when it comes into play. It's 6 and a blue. Thought Thought Copter or
Thought
something.
Monitor.
Thought Monitor.
Thought Monitor.
Yeah. So that's good, but that only costs 2 more than this. It is just a 2/2 flyer, but it's draw 2, which is pretty nuts, and obviously what makes it like very good. So
It's
this
a
is
3/4 flyer for like 2.
yeah for 2 or 1.
Pretty easily.
Yeah, I think this is good. I think even at
Yeah.
4, it's like not
Yeah.
terrible.
Not bad.
Yeah, like imagine you have that 2/1 flyer, right, that we saw in blue. That's also an uncommon, that the one that sacks to
Yes.
counter
Yes.
something. Like you play that on
Yes.
2, you play another artifact on 3, and then on 4, this only costs 3 mana, which means you hold
have
you
artifacts on
you
1
hold up
too.
you hold up the counter. Well, my point is all you need is 1 open mana to hold up the counters to protect this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is like a B minus. B
Yeah.
minus. So I think on average it is just going to cost 4.
B minus or B.
Or it might even cost 3 on turn 4, but then you like I said, you don't really care. So I think it's like a B minus. But it's an uncommon. Like if it was a common, I would actually be higher on it because it is itself an artifact, so it like feeds into it, and then you can like really just force this. Like if you had 4 of these in a deck, they're ridiculous.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, that gets out of control fast.
It's an uncommon for here's the card I've been referencing. Midnight Mangler. Fitting, I get it. It is a 3/3 for 2, and during turns other than yours. I could have just said during an opponent's turn, this vehicle is an artifact creature, but I guess it could be a teammate. And it crews for 2. Yeah. So that's the bailout for it being something other than a wall. Which is marginally better than a wall, even because it's not a creature during your turn. So if they did want to interact with it at instant speed during your turn, for whatever reason they can't. I'm tempted to say this card is very good, just because of how much I referenced it. But this card's never very good, right?
I think what makes this card actually good, specifically in vehicle decks, is the fact that it crews your other vehicles during their turn for free.
Ooh, spicy. Yeah. It turns all your vehicles into potential blockers.
Because it's just a pilot, also.
Yeah, effectively.
During their turn, basically.
I want to say this is a C+, and that feels crazy and stupid.
That sounds crazy and stupid. I think it's a C with the ability to be a C+.
I'm going to start it there. Hottest take! This is somehow a C+! Figure it out!
Yeah.
No, I like it. I've referenced it
I won't,
much.
But...
We'll see. That's where it's starting. Oh, you get the nimblest of Thopterists.
Yes. Nimble Thopterist, 3 and a blue for a Vidalcan Artificer, 3/2. When this creature enters, create a Thopter, artifact creature token with flying. Huh. How good is this? It's just a C. It's just a solid card because it makes a Thopter.
Yeah.
And is a 3/2 body, the 1/1 flyer. Like,
I'd say typically we're probably higher on these, but also typically it's like a 3/3. Yeah, I'd say it's C to C+.
I will say it does crew something and also makes a artifact.
It could crew 2 things. Crew 3, crew 1. Yahtzee. Yeah, I think it's probably closer to a C+ than a C.
Yeah.
But it's not terribly exciting.
Yeah, it's just not exciting.
Ranger's Refueler. Oh, 1 and a blue. I would be much more excited for a 2/3 for 3 that makes a 1/1 pilot that we did not see in white.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Rather than that. Ranger's Refueler. 1 and a blue for a 3/3 vehicle. Another 3/3 for 2 in blue. Whenever you activate an exhaust ability, draw a card. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Obviously an uncommon. And it powers its own self. You can pay 4 to permanently make it a 4/4. I was wrong. It's not in blue. It's not in green. Remember, I said this is the card I said would exist in green. Yeah. I said green would have a 2-drop that for 4 becomes a 4/4 and draws you a card. That's exactly what I said. If it was in green, they would have given it trample.
It might still be in green.
It might also be in green. And then it crews for 2 if for some reason you haven't done that. The thing that made exhaust cost 2 less, that was Gruul, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Gruul. Yeah, I mean, I think this is just good on its face, right? I mean, you're a little...
this is just a strong card.
A little bit concerned about not being able to block, but I mean, for an exhaust build around, it's crazy. Yeah. It is kind of like all in, though, because if you are doing exhaust, you do kind of want to play this early to start getting the draws, which means it very much is eating your ability to block, because you also don't want to block with this, because it's getting you the draws.
Right.
With the potential to be a 4/4, whenever. I still think, I think this just by itself is like a C plus B minus. Because this is worse than what I was saying with green. Like I thought
Yeah, I
green
agree.
would actually get like a 2/2 for 2 that would just straight up bail you out if
Yeah.
it had to. This cannot bail you out if it has to.
Yeah,
This is,
yeah, I think that will probably exist,
this is
but
much more
I think this is
feast and
yeah, a
famine.
C plus to a B minus. I don't think it's can be above that because it
Yeah,
is
I would say
slow.
it's riskier, but I mean, if you have a deck that has like 8 exhaust abilities, this is probably like a B. Like that's an impossible amount of card advantage to beat if they start doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it can play higher if you really get there, but it's risky because it doesn't do much by itself. Uh-oh. You see?
Roadside Blowout. Tuna blue for a sorcery. The spell costs 2 less if it targets a permanent with mana value 1. Return target creature or vehicle an opponent controls to its owner's hand and draw a card. For 3. It is a sorcery, but this card is good, right?
Bouncing one drops. I'm trying to figure out what that is specifically. It's not even one or less. It's just like mana value
It's
1.
just 1.
Because
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one
that's
or less would
interesting.
be interesting because that means bouncing any token that's only cost 1.
Yeah.
That would be, like I said, just kind of interesting in itself. So I don't know what
Yeah, I don't
the mana value 1 is
for
about.
commander.
Soul Ring, but why? Esper Sentinel, that you're still gonna get taxed, then you pay the tax. I'm not sure. So let's just say it's a sorcery. The fact that it's not, I mean, if it was an instant, I'd probably be down for that as a sorcery. I
It's
guess
just the
that,
fact that it replaces itself that I like.
yeah, it's again slow, right? Because you're not developing the
It's
board at
slow.
all. It is an
Anything that
uncommon.
cares about you drawing a card.
Be a hint that it's an uncommon. Um, yeah, I'm
I
really
think
not sure about
blue seems
this.
pretty grindy, so I think it's just good for
Yeah,
tempo.
maybe. I'll start at like a C, maybe C plus. It also actually helps you conversely with speed, right? Like conversely, this is a very aggressive card. You say he's defensive, it can
Yeah.
also be a very
Also,
aggressive card. Like
certainly.
if you're going first and ahead, they're like play a 2 drop. You're like no, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like C, probably C to C plus. Interesting. Right. Sabotage Strategist. 2/2 blue for a 2/2 Vidalcan Ranger. It has flying and vigilance, 2/2 for 4. Whenever one or more creatures attack you, those creatures get -1/-0 until end of turn. Static
Whoa.
ability. Exhaust for 7, 5 and 2 blue, and it gets 3/1/1 counters. If this doesn't say blue is
Whoa.
trying to be grindy, I don't know what does.
Yeah, what the
a,
fuck?
a 2/2 flying vigilance that nerfs all your opponent's creatures, and then on turn 7 it becomes a 5/5 flying vigilance. It's an uncommon because God is it annoying. In multiples, it is just
Yeah, it gets oppressive in multiples.
it is awful in multiples. For your opponent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'd play this. I just don't know how enthused. It's just a weird game plan because even with like giving stuff -1/-0,
It's
this thing
so slow.
still probably can't block much. It can block a 2/2
No.
then without dying,
No.
but you're really susceptible to combat tricks and it has
I
this
guess
weird.
maybe it's fine to get in damage and then be able to crew one crew walking. I like this does
It's hard.
somewhat help you get to max speed. It's weird. Card is weird.
It's so expensive
Kind
too.
of is.
Yeah, I have no idea what this
It
is.
is very expensive.
This feels like anywhere from like a C minus to a B minus, and I really have no idea. I feel like B minus is probably its ceiling. Yeah,
It's just so slow.
I don't really know. It feels good with the 3/3 walls again. I keep referencing that card because like now those are even like you have to have a 4/4 to get through this stupid 2-drop at this point, and feel good about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't really snowball, does it? Yeah, my gut would say this is like a C initially. That's where I'm going to start it. Is this me? Or is this you?
No, it's me. Scrounging Skyray. I love the art of this. It's insane. It's a shark wielding machetes.
No, I think
One in a
it's
blue.
it's like a manta ray.
Yeah, well, look, there's like just some sharks that look like rays a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it
Some
has like that
sharks.
mouth. It has that mouth that opens, and you see like the
Yes,
two bottom eyes.
yes.
Yeah.
But look at all the weapons he's wielding.
It's a
Anyway,
very weaponized ray.
he's a 1/2 for 2 flyer. When you discard one or more cards, put that many 1/1 counters on this creature.
Discard payoff.
Maybe if this card payoff.
Discard
Oh
payoff.
my god. This card gets out of hand in a hurry and it cycles for fun itself.
Yep. So you play this and you cycle one thing and you feel great. I cannot imagine cycling this card away. You're cycling this card away when you like have to find removal or you lose or something. Like it'd be difficult.
It's also one or more, not that you're discarding multiple cards usually a turn, but like if you have
Say it, Gabe.
something that does.
What is it good with? What type of card is it good with? Come on. You've been saying this every time we talk about a discard's energy.
Mill?
What?
What a mill?
No, it's discarding isn't milling. You always say this is
right.
good with a wheel. every other discard card we hear like, oh, it's so good with wheel. Yeah, this is good with.
Yeah.
Discard 7, draw 7, get 7 1/1 counters.
And commander for
hey,
not good enough still.
It's smooth curves, baby. This on 2, wheel on 3. Done.
Yeah,
8 9 flyer.
Yeah, that's the mythic of the set is just a new wheel.
Just straight up wheel, no downside.
They just reprinted Wheel of Fortune in blue.
That exists. Slightly different. It's called Time Twister. It's part of the Power 9. Reprint Time Twister. Ah! That would make people lose their mind. In all seriousness about this card, this card is a B plus. I think it's a B plus even. I mean, you want cycling, and we've seen already the Is It thing likes looting. We are in S, and we haven't seen all of that much looting in blue. That draws, but none of these are discarding. Like, we haven't seen much discarding in blue, I feel like. Or cycling. But we didn't white, and we didn't...
The Keen Buccaneer, the common 2/3 for 3 that has vigilance, and you exhaust 2 to draw a card and discard a card.
As an exhaust, so you can do it once. Yeah, that one's good. You're right.
Yeah, but it's still.
Yeah, that's for sure be good with this. Yeah, I still think this is like a B to B plus. Yeah, I guess you're right. I think probably by itself is a B. I mean, this is a B if you cycle one thing. If you cycle one thing, you have a 2/3 flyer for 2. That's a B.
This is also insane with the Howling Heavy, the -3 -0 when you cycle it.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was a good cycler in this. Yeah, like I said, all you need to do is discard one card, and this is a B.
Yeah.
If you discard 2 cards, it's already probably a B plus.
Fair.
Sky Streak Engineer, 1 in a blue for a 1/3 flying human pilot. Exhaust 4 in a blue, put 2 1/1 counters on this creature.
Weird.
A 1/3 flyer is a pretty good stat line.
Yeah, it is.
On turn,
that's also going to get you to max speed.
It is pretty good. A 1/3 flying vigilance for 2 is a real stat line. Put 2 1/1 counters on this creature for 5, so that makes it a 3/5 flyer, which is also a good stat line. I think this is a C. I just say it's a C.
Yeah, it's a C, but I like it.
It'd be nice if you could make this exhaust ability cost 2 less. That would be cracking.
Yeah, that would be nuts. Slick Imitator, 1 in a blue for a creature ooze. So 1/3. Start your engines. Max speed, pay 1, sacrifice this creature, copy target spell you control. You may choose new target for the copy.
Uh,
Interesting.
yeah. I just don't know how good blue is going to be at getting max speed. It's just a 1/3 for 2. Sure, copying a spell is good, but like, is that how this is winning? So this is almost certainly is it, right? We just have to see some
Yeah.
real compelling spells in is it that's making me want to do this. I've not seen a spell. Oh, this would be funny with that Demir drain spell.
Yes.
Cast that, copy it.
Well, it's also copy any target spell. So I mean, a big
Oh,
creature
it can be a
with
permanent. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Good call, good call. I didn't exactly catch that. I mean, okay, yeah. So that is actually quite a good payoff.
yeah, that's a very good payoff.
But how is blue really doing? I mean, you're spending your turn 2 playing a 1/3, and you're supposed to somehow get max speed.
Uh,
Feels like it's gonna take a while.
We've seen flyer. There's a lot of flyers in blue. Because I think you're more likely to play a flyer turn
There's
1 or 2
there's no
and then
flyers
hit
turn 1.
them.
There's no flyers turn 1. We only
Sure,
saw that
sure,
thing that could
sure,
turn
sure,
into a flyer.
sure. Well, then I mean, for 2 you're playing a flyer, and then on after that you're attacking it after playing this on turn.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna start this off at a C minus, but it has pie in the sky payoff. That's for sure. Spectral Interference, 1 in a blue instant. Counter target artifact or creature spell unless the controller pays for it. Yeah, you told me about this.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably good. I mean, obviously, not getting any removal is a cost, but this is also a very good tempo play at pretty much any point in the game. I mean, it's another way to read this is just like effective, extremely effective 2 cost removal that has a tight window where it can be played. That's kind of how I would look at it.
Yeah,
You have to
but
play it when it
I will.
casts.
Yeah, yes, but I also think that because it is 4 and hits artifacts, there are definitely like big vehicles we've seen that you're going to be able to counter later in the game where normally this would already be
Sure,
past
but compare
it.
this
Like
to
you'd
that
be
white
happy
common
about drawing it
removal.
off the top.
Compare this to that white
Of
common
course,
removal.
it's infinitely worse.
I mean, the white common is a sorcery. This is an instant, but this like almost holds your mana captive because you kind of like have to hold it open to do
Yes,
this. Where the white one, you can just
you do.
use it and move
Yeah, of
on.
course, of course.
But also the white one doesn't prevent any incremental damage that they might have gotten from playing the vehicle, which we've established there's a bit of, where this obviously
Yeah,
does because it's countered. Yeah, I would still say this is like a C to C plus.
yeah,
C
yeah. This is still a good card,
is
especially in
playable.
this set.
Spell Pierce. This is a
S-
reprint.
Yeah, we've seen Spell Pierce before. 1 blue, counter target
Common.
non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2.
Is this playable? Since there's so many vehicles, probably
Probably.
because it counters
There's so many
vehicles.
artifacts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would.
all vehicles.
I mean, if you're not playing against the
It's
vehicle
also
deck, though,
non-creature spells, so I mean it
yeah,
still hits tricks and stuff.
yeah, I play one of these. I play one of these. I wouldn't take it very highly though. I'd take it like
No, it's a C
if
to C plus.
I would take this like it was a C plus if I was playing in a best of 3 format where I would start this in my main deck just because there's so many vehicles, but being able to
Yeah,
take it out if
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
think there's enough targets. But yes, I
Yeah,
agree.
that's
So
fair.
C to C plus. Here we go.
4 and a blue for Spike Shell Harrier, or for artifact creature Robot Turtle. When this creature enters, return target creature or vehicle an opponent controls to its owner's hand. If that opponent's speed is greater than each other player's speed, reduce the opponent's speed by 1. This effect can't reduce the speed below 1. Weird.
This card's cracked. I mean, forget all that speed stuff.
Yeah, this card's really good.
It's a
Yeah,
4/4 for 5 that
the speed stuff is
bounces.
irrelevant. Yeah. I mean, this card is great.
It's wild. That's, I think, one of the best mana wars we've ever seen. Yeah, the whole speed thing's like whatever. I mean, it's an artifact. It's a 4/4. It bounces something on ETB. It's an uncommon because of all these things. But this is like a B.
Yeah,
it's a
agreed.
big tempo play. Now this is when I start getting interested, like to also have unsummon, right? Because what's really backbreaking is when you're like Spike Shell Harrier, bounce your 5-drop, and they're like, okay, I'm replaying my 5-drop, and the next turn you're like Spike Shell Harrier, drop your 5, bounce your 5-drop,
play something else. Yeah,
and they're like, or no, I'm saying like you play another one, and they're like, all right, this time I play a 6-drop, and the next turn you're like, unsummon your 6-drop, play something else.
Like,
all right,
yeah.
I've lost. So yeah, it's like a B, maybe even better.
Yeah, I agree.
Stall out. This is interesting design space. I think the verdict is still out on if these are good or bad. A 1 and a blue sorcery, so leaning towards bad, because instant is much better for this effect.
It's a sorcery, yeah.
Tap target creature or vehicle, then put 3 stun counters on it. So the reason it's a sorcery is they're wanting almost it to skew more aggressive towards speed. So it's going to keep it tapped down for 3 turns, right? Because you tap it, stun counter. So their turn 1, it goes to 2. Their turn 2, it goes to 1. Their turn 3, it goes to 0, but it's still tapped. So it still keeps it down for 3 of their turns. Yeah. But it cycles for 2. So we don't really have to think too much about how good it is because it cycles for 2. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it. And if it's good, it's going to be cast and win me the game. And if it's not good, it's going to get cycled and put a 1/1 counter on that 2/1 flyer. Or 1/2 flyer.
Yeah.
We saw.
Yeah. Agreed.
So yeah, I rate this like a C to maybe even C+. Like, I think it's like almost, its floor is like a C-. I think it's probably a C. Yeah. And if you're aggressive, like with flyers, or maybe is it somehow, then it's a C+.
Yeah.
You're good?
Stock up 2 and a blue for a sorcery uncommon. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Huh. I wish they discarded.
Yeah, that would be better. So for
it seems like really good card selection.
For 3 mana, you're drawing 2. It's better than oh shoot, what's the 3 mana draw 2? A sorcery speed that got power crept out is officially power crept. Jeez, I can't remember the name for that card. But it's better than that.
Yeah.
This is like so slow and grindy, but like it's strong. I don't really know how to evaluate this.
It's playable at all, so
it's
C to C+.
Yeah, it's probably a C. You just have to be able to support the sort of play style that's willing to get to turn 8 and cast this or something. Like,
right.
If you can do that. I mean, I think this card's pretty good. Again, it has to be proven to us that this is a reasonable thing to do in the format and that blue can support doing it. If those things are true, this is strong. It's like a C+.
Right.
Trade the Helm. 4 and a blue for a sorcery. Exchange control of target artifact or creature you control, and target artifact or creature an opponent controls.
Whoa.
These are iffy because you're 2 for 1ing yourself. Because you're using this card to do it. So the cards you're getting back better be better than 2 entire cards that you're using to do it. which would typically mean, you're giving them a token, a 1/1 token, and taking their biggest thing. But again, you can cycle. So if that narrow use case where 2-for-1ing yourself does not sound great because they don't have a bomb or you're ahead, you can get out of it. But if they pay some 5-drop bomb and you're like, here's a 2/2 that does nothing,
You feel pretty good about it.
and you can also just give them an artifact that maybe does nothing.
Yeah.
If you're in Gruul again, you make a treasure token. That would be pretty good. Have a treasure token and take your biggest creature.
Yeah.
This is like an expensive mind control, but I guess even in Commander, it is yet another mind control. Take your commander, give you a treasure. I wonder if you can sack in response to this and it still happen. Probably not. I think the ability would fizzle because you can no longer exchange. But I'd have to see.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Again, you can cycle, get out. Like, are you playing this unlimited?
Probably not.
If
Not
if
unless
I
I really
if I
am
had the
into
1/2,
cycling.
yeah. If I had that 1/2 flyer,
Yeah.
I might play
Yeah,
this.
like
This is
sure.
like a D
Sure.
plus. I think it's like a D plus. Unless you can make treasure tokens and make 1/1s and have discard payoffs, then it's like a C.
Transit Mage, tuna blue for a human wizard 2/2. When this creature enters, you may search your library for an artifact card with mana value 4 or 5, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Shuffle.
It's so specific. 4 or 5.
Well, this is part of a cycle. There's a bunch of TR mages that find specifically artifacts of a certain value.
I mean, there's a deck building requirement at play here, but assuming you fulfill it correctly, this is like a B.
Yeah.
This is a B with built-in complaint equity. This is when like your opening hand has one of these and let's say
And
you
your
have
other
3
one.
things. Oh, let's say you have 3, 4, and 5 drops, and your opening hand has this and one of the 4 or 5 drops. You're like, yeah, sure, keep. Then turn 1, you draw 1, and then turn 2, you draw the last one, and you're like,
yeah.
it's the worst
That's
card.
plain equity. But yeah,
Yeah,
this is for sure a B otherwise.
yeah. I would try to get. I think 3 is the sweet spot. Like 3 artifacts that you can get, and you should be happy. It's technically playable with 1. Just maybe don't keep the hand that has both of them in it.
Right.
But yeah, if this fetches anything, it's a B. It's all it has to do. Successfully trigger, resolve its text in a meaningful way, and it's a B.
God, I wish this was an artifact. God.
Yeah, that would be pretty correct. All right, trip up. 3 and a blue for an instant. Return target non-land permanent. Target non-land permanent's owner puts it on their choice of top or bottom of their library. My brain was creating text that wasn't there. But it cycles for 2. I think this is good.
This is a good card. Yeah,
I think the fact
C plus, C plus, high C.
I mean, we saw this for 3 mana, right? In that one set, or in Modern Horizons, and it was like broken at 3 mana. Even in Modern Horizons, it was broken at 3 mana. Now for 4 mana, that's like where it's okay, but like the only downside of this is you're ahead, or you doesn't really have. I mean, there's very little downside to this. It costing too much. Maybe you're like on a beatdown path and this isn't doing it. But yeah, just cycling is always nice. So yeah, I say this is a C plus. I think that's generous. I think it's trending towards C plus. It's pretty good. We did it. We finished with blue.
We did it.
Wow. Next, black.
I felt like we did that one better.
Yeah, that was a more reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.